The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Breaking news. Someone on TV with a big platform said something really stupid about Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers. We'll address that and much more. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
Man, our Jets are primed for a historic season. We bleed Jets green each and every day. This is not the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. Let's go. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. The Jets bandwagon is loaded. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go. Welcome in, everybody. Show number 2 on the day. And if you missed the first one, it was awesome. Andrew Fialco, fresh off vacation in Italy, came on and broke down some film on Garrett Wilson. Not just any type of film where he is clearly open and a quarterback did not see him, did not get him the ball. And it really is eye-opening to see how many plays were left out there a season ago. And while it's negative last year, it is now positive going into this year because things will now change with Aaron Rodgers back. And, of course, Tyrod Taylor, a legit backup, backing Aaron up. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, Shannon Sharpe is the latest imbecile on television to spout off incoherent nonsense about the New York Jet quarterback. Before we play that clip, I simply say subscribe to the channel and make sure you like this video, even if you're not about to like what comes out of the NFL Hall of Famer's mouth.
Here's a guy that played 4 snaps in the regular season last year, and all of a sudden it's beneath him to be at a mandatory. I didn't say voluntary. We understand what voluntary means. We know what that means. He can choose to be there or not. This was a mandatory minicamp. And what was the reason? I understand if there's an illness in the family, if there's an illness with him. There wasn't. This is why he hasn't won more than what he's won. It's great, and he's historically great. He's transcendently great. But there's a reason why he doesn't win more in the playoffs than what he does. He's standoffish. He's condescending. He's aloof. He's all about Aaron Rodgers. He's never been about the team.
How could anyone actually take any of those comments seriously? Seriously, Shannon Sharpe should be embarrassed that he actually went on a platform as big as First Take on ESPN and said that. He's standoffish. He's condescending. He's aloof. He's never been about the team. How about the fact, Shannon, he took the largest pay cut in professional sports history? Would someone not about the team do that? How about the fact he went out of his way to fly back and forth from California to New York to be with the team last year? His own teammates saw the effort he made. They voted him the Dennis Byrd recipient, which goes to the most inspirational player. How about the fact that Aaron Rodgers for 2 years attended everything, voluntary or mandatory, before these 2 days in June, 2 weeks ago, and he gave the Jets weeks of notice, months of notice in advance he was not going to be there? To say he's standoffish, to say he's condescending, just say you don't like the guy's political opinions, or you don't like the fact that he gets to go on Pat McAfee every week and makes $1 million a season to do it, or whatever your reason is that you don't like Aaron Rodgers. Because saying that he's standoffish, it's beneath him to not be there when you don't know the facts is embarrassing. And that's what that was. And also, this happened 2 weeks ago. And this is one of the main topics on First Take 2 days ago. Think about that. And if you guys don't think that Aaron Rodgers does not get unfairly assassinated by people in the media, you haven't been paying attention. How much more evidence do you need? There are things you could legitimately criticize Aaron Rodgers for. There are things he says that you might not agree with or you'd prefer he doesn't say. But to now make this about his commitment to the Jets when anyone who's actually followed the team like we have, because we're diehards and we live and die with this damn team, despite the fact they've given us nothing, we actually look at Aaron Rodgers and go, you know what? He's not what they said he was, because we actually live it. We follow it. We hear his interviews. We don't just take things out of context to try and use on our shows to engagement farm. I mean, this was terrible, folks. This was so bad. What a dumb rant. He could choose to be there or not. This was mandatory. Shannon, he went to 10 of the 12 practices. How many did Lamar Jackson go to? Didn't go to 10 of the Ravens' 12. It doesn't matter. Tom Brady missed 11 days of training camp. No one said anything. If Aaron had missed OTAs, I would say it's a bad look. He should be there. He went to everything. He gave the Jets notice. Why don't we play audio of his teammates talking about him? Why don't we put up the Sauce Gardner tweet? They won't, because it doesn't fit the narrative. They have put Aaron Rodgers in this box, and they want us to somehow believe he's this boogeyman. If he doesn't play well with the Jets, he will deserve fair criticism. He puts a target on himself. I get that. The Jets have hype and expectations. If he doesn't play well, he is certainly susceptible to criticism. He will get criticism on this show. But can we stop making this story somehow bigger than what it actually is? But we can't stop because there's nothing going on in the NFL. So it's, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers today. But these people never have the facts. They never do. They never will. And just the part that he talks about, well, you know, this is why he has only one Super Bowl. There's a reason why he hasn't won more in the playoffs. Ask a Packer fan if that's true. They'll tell you, of course not. Because here are the stats, Shannon Sharpe, because obviously you didn't bother to do an ounce of research. Aaron Rodgers has a passer rating of 100.1 with 5,894 yards passed, 45 touchdowns versus 13 interceptions in 22 games in the playoffs in his career. Aaron Rodgers in his career with the Green Bay Packers has had a top 5 defense just one time. That was the year they won the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers lost playoff games in his career where his defense allowed 37 points in 2019, 44 points in 2016, 45 points in 2012, 37 points in 2011, 51 points in 2009. In NFC Championship games, the Green Bay Packers allowed 35 points per game. Those are some facts for you, Shannon. Is it fair to criticize Rodgers for some of his playoff performances? Sure, he has been great in every game. I'd be the first to tell you, I didn't think he played well in his last playoff game in Green Bay against San Francisco. But to sit here and act as though Rodgers somehow missing 2 padless practices in June is the reason why he's only won 1 Super Bowl is nonsense. Now do Drew Brees. Now do Dan Marino, who doesn't have any Super Bowl rings, or Jim Kelly, who doesn't have any Super Bowl rings. The truth is, it's really hard to win a Super Bowl. I think the success that Brady had winning 7, and now what Mahomes is doing, seemingly right as Brady retired, has kind of like changed our perception on rings in football. It's really hard to win, man. That's why Rodgers doesn't have more. You need a quarterback to have a shot. You need a team to win. I promise you the New York Jets defense in any playoff game is not allowing 45 points, 44 points, or 51 points in a game. Aaron Rodgers in his career, Shannon, is 81-10 when the defense on his team allows 20 points or less. The New York Jets defense the last 2 years allows less than 20 points per game. How about those facts? But no, you don't like Aaron Rodgers personally, so we're going to attack his character. You have no idea where he was. And if he gave the Jets notice and he had been at everything else, this is such a non-story that continues to be made a story because people have an agenda. That is the bottom line. This is another agenda-driven attack against the guy that since he's been a Jet, anyone you talk to will tell you has been an unbelievable teammate and leader. I don't care that he does a podcast appearance with Tucker Carlson or Joe Rogan in the offseason. When it's time to play football, Aaron Rodgers has always been there. It is not his fault that he got hurt on the 4th play of the season for the Jets. But some people almost make it sound like it's Aaron's fault he got hurt. And I've never seen an athlete that suffers an injury like the one Aaron suffered, as devastating as that was, like gets openly mocked online. Or at a Detroit Tigers game, they got a promotion who had more completions last year, and they choose one of their defensive players that on a trick play threw a pass, and then they put up Aaron Rodgers as the other option. Like, I've never seen an athlete get mocked like this, and I can't wait for this guy to be back out there and prove people wrong, man, because you don't doubt all-time greats, and the last time Aaron Rodgers had this many doubters, he won back-to-back MVP awards. So I think he's going to have a big year. You need luck from the football gods for him to stay healthy. But I think he's going to have a big year because this is just such nonsense. And I want to shout out Dan Orlovsky. Dan Orlovsky played a decade in the NFL. He was on First Take after Shannon spouted this nonsense. And this was Dan Orlovsky, who, by the way, was a quarterback, would know how big of a deal it is if you miss 2 days of mandatory minicamp or not. This was Dan Orlovsky talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Completely disagree. Too much being made of him missing the mandatory minicamp. There's some truth to the things that Shannon said and agree on some of that. But the reality is this. The way that it was communicated to the public by Robert Saleh was a much bigger deal than Aaron actually missing that minicamp. There's 3 things that are the most paramount part of this conversation. Number 1, this is Super Bowl or bust for Aaron with the New York Jets. Maybe not just this season, but his tenure there. Number 2, it is a legacy-changing tenure with the Jets. He either goes into the conversation of all-time great or all-time talent. Number 3, if healthy, the Jets can absolutely win the Super Bowl this year. But to sit here and say that we're going to make a big deal about Aaron Rodgers not going to the camp is completely outrageous. If the Jets struggle to start this season and Aaron struggles, this will be a talking point. If he doesn't, if he plays the way that Aaron does and this team plays at a high level to start this season, this will be completely forgotten about. The only reason that this would be a conversation is if they struggle. The reasons why the Jets might not be good this year. Number 1, they can't stay healthy. Number 2, their offensive line falls apart. Number 3, their offensive coordinator is not creative enough on offense. Number 4, their defense can't stop the run. Way down on the potential list is Aaron Rodgers not being there for mandatory minicamp after he was there for the whole offseason. We're making way too big a deal about this.
I mean, is that not fair analysis? Right? That's all Jet fans, I think, are asking for, right? I'm one of you guys. That's what I look for. Fair analysis. I don't always agree with everything Dan says, but at least he played the position. At least he gave you analysis, not garbage that Shannon Sharpe gave you. His incoherent rant. He's standoffish. He's condescending. Like, where are you getting this from? Based on what? His teammates or coaches? Because that's not true. So, props to Orlovsky, because that's football analysis. I mean, if you're going to say Aaron Rodgers missing minicamp is a big deal, tell us why. Tell us why without a personal attack on the guy's character. You can't, because that's all it stems. All it stems from. That's all it comes back to. The fact of the matter is this. If the Jets don't reach their goals, it will have zero to do with Aaron Rodgers missing 36 total snaps without pads on in June when he went to the other 10 practices. And if you somehow think that Rodgers not being there means the Jets are in trouble, you, my friend, maybe have been hit in the head too many times. Because that's the only rationale behind having that take at this point. This story happened 2 weeks ago. It's still being discussed. Embarrassing. Comments, questions, super chats will cut the line. Shout out to all the Asmaniacs that are tuned in right now. hit the like button. We will open up the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. Today's Jake Asman Show is presented by my friends at Huga House. Get yourself a Huga House hat and get it on a discounted 15% rate when you go to their website, hugahouse.com, and you use promo code at checkout. Get yourself the hat that I'm wearing right now, 15% off at hugahouse.com. It's not just me rocking the hat. If you think Aaron Rodgers is being attacked by people who don't have a clue, well, maybe you want to get a Huga House hat out of support for Rodgers. hugahouse.com, promo code Asman. Buy one hat, get the second hat 15% off. They have a navy blue hat that is out, so check that out. Tyler Conklin's rocking Huga House, as is Shane Gillis, as is Kevin from The Office, as is Mr. Shohei Ohtani and JT Realmuto, and plenty of other athletes and entertainers. So check it out, hugahouse.com, promo code Asman for 15% off at checkout. Buy one hat, get the second hat 30% off. Let's see what you guys are thinking. Shout out to everyone tuned in. We're looking for more channel members. Our latest emoji is officially the Lombardi emoji, which is the goal for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets this upcoming season. Mike D's Nuts with a super chat. I'd pay to see Jake debate him with all the facts. I'd love to. I'll never get the opportunity, though, because it doesn't fit the anti-Aaron Rodgers and Jets agenda. It really is the perfect storm, right? The Jets always get attacked because they've been bad for so long, and it's easy and convenient. And you have a lightning rod in Aaron Rodgers. It's unbelievable, but it's not surprising. Oscar says Rodgers is going to have his Jordan moment this season. Oscar, from your lips to God's ears, my man. Keep him healthy, and I think he's going to have a big year. Let's get to your calls on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. Kyle Clifton is first up. What's up, Kyle?
Hey, Jake. I can't do Rodgers versus the national media anymore. I'm kind of burned out on it. So I wanted to ask you a question about what you think a bridge contract for Assan Reddick might look like. Does he have about $15 million this year unguaranteed? Is that what we're looking at?
He has, I think it's 14.5 non-guaranteed right now.
Okay. Do you think that they could maybe take maybe 3.5 of that and convert it into bonus and put a bridge year on at about $18 million? Maybe so that next year's deal comes out to a total of just under 20, and then maybe put one void year in 2026 at the veteran minimum out there, and maybe that would get it done for him.
I think you're in the right ballpark. It's tough for me to project because I don't know what he wants. Like, does he want just more money for this year and the opportunity to hit a free agency next year? Obviously, he wants a big deal, but if the Jets say we're not giving you a big deal, what can they do to compromise? But I think you're in the right ballpark. I've always envisioned incentives on his current deal and maybe guaranteeing his $14.5 million salary.
Or a portion of it for injury, right?
Right. Something along those lines. And maybe they give him the wink, wink, hey, we're not going to franchise tag you after the year.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, for this year, I mean, a lot of that money is already virtually guaranteed. They want him on the field, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing he's got to guard against, though, is like, what if he suffers some sort of injury in preseason or training camp, and it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's not in a game yet, and he loses some of that money.
Right. So in addition to the bonus money, maybe it's $2 million guaranteed for injury this year, whatever.
Whatever they end up doing, Kyle, I am not concerned in the slightest that this is something that lingers even into training camp. I'd be surprised if it got that far.
Okay. Very good, Jake. Have a good day.
Appreciate you, Kyle. Thanks so much. Hit the like button. Good call there from Kyle. Shout out to all the Asmaniacs. Consider becoming an Asmaniac on YouTube by hitting the join button. It is just $2.99 a month to do that for our baby Asmaniac package. So check that out. Less than a cup of coffee. Mike writes in, don't forget he tore his Achilles because he didn't get the vaccine. Yeah, I mean, like, just it's insane over the last year what people have said about this guy. Like, legitimate people with careers in the business. Like, it's embarrassing. Now, Keith Olbermann's a joke at this stage of his life. He's a moron. All right. But he actually did say that Rodgers tore his Achilles because he did not get the vaccine. That actually happened.
Into the shadow realm you go.
Aaron Rodgers is another sudden Liz Frank injury due to failure to vaccinate. I'm the dumbest person I know.
Get your 5th booster, Keith.
Embarrassing. Embarrassing. But that's where we're at. Tommy's up next. What's up, Tommy?
Jake, my brother, how are you?
Hey, Tommy.
I just want to say one thing out to Mr. Bonesy, dude. When I called you out on the basketball, it's not me, dude. I said my brother's 6'2", and I could bring one other person with him, and I would put any amount of gambling money that these two guys play Division I, Division II basketball, all that. They got their YouTube videos. I could send you their names. There's no joke. They're both coaches. And I'll be just sitting there on the sideline, Bonesy. I know you'll destroy me, dude. I'm 5'9". You're like 6'1". I know. I got nothing against Bonesy, bro. Much respect. Awesome dude. Probably a great basketball player.
Tommy,
So,
thank you. Get to your
real
football
quick.
tape.
Okay. The point is, all right. I am so tired of, like, it's been 2 months now, or a month and a half that they're talking about Aaron Rodgers and missing 2 days of minicamp. Understand this, guys. Everybody, girls, family, Jets, everybody. I will not curse once, Jake. The Jets don't need Aaron Rodgers throwing 38 passes in mandatory minicamp, okay? The guy is brilliant. He's a father figure to Robert Saleh. The guy will be there. He runs his own offense. He tells Nate Hackett, look, I need my coffee like this, and go make it for me. Aaron Rodgers runs this team. And if he's healthy, like any other quarterback that's on the 32 teams in the NFL, we are not losing many games, baby. I predict 17 or no, and I don't see us losing. Besides, maybe like we need one game just to get it out of our system. Jake, keep doing you, brother. I love you.
Tommy, appreciate you. Keep him healthy. And with this roster, they're poised to have a good season. Really good season. Maybe a special season. We just got to get there first, man. I think it was Mike Greenberg who had this line when he was on Pat McAfee last. Like, if we could just press a button and just get to week 1, that's what the Jets need right now. Because none of this stuff matters. The only thing that matters is improving it on the field. That's the only way you could start to change the narrative and fire back at these morons who have no facts.
It's time for V-Man to talk about Puerto Rico and his Puerto Rican roots.
Hey, Jake.
V-Man?
What's up? Hey, Jake. What's up? How you doing?
What's up, man?
I was just about to go visit my grandfather.
Very nice.
Honestly, it's just more nonsense, and it's nonsensical, lazy takes that are not in the single realm of reality. But we already knew that. This is just what they're going to keep on doing until football season begins. And we just got to sit here and just, obviously we're going to defend Rodgers because he doesn't deserve this flack, and just sit here and just wait till football season to shut everybody up.
That's the plan. That's the plan.
By the way, you're not going to today's Yankees game, are you?
I am, right when I get done with this show.
Oh, I was gonna say, because what time you heading out for the game?
When I get done with this show.
Oh, I was gonna say because there's actually a really good spot in Queens, actually, a good Puerto Rican spot in Queens called the Freakin' Rican. It's not too far from the stadium. I mean, you could just take if you look up the Metro map to get there. It's like you could stop there before the game because they have some really good food in case you want to get a bite before the game.
I appreciate it. I will not have time, unfortunately, but I appreciate the recommendation.
All right, well, just let you know.
V-Man, thank you.
That's the end of this V-Man call. Time for him to get back to pooping.
Thank you, V-Man. Cincy Matt, who made it rain with 10 memberships earlier, he checks in. He speaks his mind, and since it doesn't align with the political mainstream, it's become okay to pile on and mischaracterize him all for clicks. Despicable and effing shameful. Do better, Shannon. That's a pretty accurate description. I mean, this guy has broken so many people's brains, man. It's amazing. That's why we created the latest bit on the show, the asylum for everyone who has RDS. in mainstream sports media. Rodgers derangement syndrome. Shannon Sharpe, severe case of RDS. I mean, Shannon should go say hi to Chris Canty and Cowherd.
Aaron Rodgers strikes me as the type of person that preaches, do as I say, not as I do.
Aaron's on vacation. This is sort of what you would expect. Prickly, older, at times arrogant, disconnected quarterback.
Clearly, Aaron Rodgers prioritizing something above football. You have to be a little bit skeptical for somebody that only played 4 plays last year. Football is not the absolute top priority in his life.
RDS, man. Rodgers derangement syndrome. More calls right now. Purple Belt Mike is up next on our show. Mike, what's going on?
I can't take this anymore. I can't take it anymore, man. I can't take it anymore. I cannot wait until we win the Super Bowl and I get that tattoo live on your show.
Let's go.
I can't wait for it. Check out my new shoes, by the way. Check this out. These are the Jets Pegasus.
Uh-oh. We lost you, Mike. That's it. Call back. Those shoes look cool from the 2 seconds I saw it up on the screen. Ricky NY writes in, I'm delirious, sleep deprived, and violently angry. I have a take, but can't call because I'm too tired and mad to form a coherent thought. Well, Ricky, I'll tell you what, it wouldn't be the first time on today's show we played something or heard from someone that didn't have a coherent thought. Purple Belt Mike is back. Mike, what happened?
I hit the end button on my phone. But yeah, look at these things. These things are sick. Look at that.
Nice.
Sick, right?
Looking good.
Yep. I got my Yak King shirt too. Check it out.
Oh, it's a Corley shirt. Love that.
Yep. Let's go. Let's go Jets, baby.
Mike, you're the man. Appreciate you. Rapid fire. More calls right now. K-Brock is up next. What's up, K-Brock?
What's up, Jake?
What's going on?
So I was watching, I don't know if you ever watch The Huddle with Richie and TD Finstock and Dan Mitchell, but yesterday TD says some ridiculous stuff. He says that the Jets defense is highly overrated and their secondary is going to get extremely exposed this year. I wanted to see your thoughts on that.
Is that the same TD Finstock that said this right after the draft?
Dolphin fans, are you really feeling like this team can compete with the Jets this year? Our only hope with the Jets is hoping Aaron Rodgers is for some reason done lost it. The Jets are loaded. They don't have a single hole on the entire roster now. A single hole. They just like, hey, we having fun. We getting depth for the future. Like, they're building for the future with a roster that's complete, with no hole. And they already got a little depth. Y'all the future. Y'all just going to have to sit back and chill.
I mean, he changed his tune, I guess. You know, I guess he has to try and convince himself that the Jets aren't the best team in the AFC East.
He also had his prediction for the Dolphins at 8 wins, and just because they signed Marcus May and Calais Campbell, now they're going to win 11 games, is what he says.
Look, he's entitled to his opinion, but I think it's a very silly one.
Yep. He also says that we are too high on Garrett Wilson, and he's not really that good. That's also what he said yesterday.
Okay, Brock, I appreciate the call. TD Finstock sounds very uneducated about the Jets. Might be a good guy. Richie tells me he is a good guy. But those are some silly takes. His real take was what he played in that clip. Now he's just trying to pander to his fans, maybe, because he doesn't believe that. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Hit the like button if you're tuning in live right now. Appreciate all the Asmaniacs out there who support the show day in, day out. Special shout out to everyone on the Patreon. You join the Patreon, you gain access to our Discord, one of the awesome perks you get when you head to patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Let's keep rolling with your calls right now.
Well, you know, I need to find Matt O'Leary. He's supposed to come on my show. I want his butt on a stick.
Hi, Jake. How you doing?
What's up, Bobby?
We got to give a shout out to Mr. Bonesy because he's sick and his kids are sick. He has 103 temperature.
Oh,
today.
no. Bonesy, feel better.
And the kids, too.
And,
Don't forget.
and the little Bonesies.
I think the two little ones. Yeah, he just tried to call me. I was waiting online. Then he put it in Discord. So, no, I think Shannon Sharpe looks like a horse's face. That's what he looks like. He has a horse face. Do you see his face? I always think he looks like a horse.
One thing I don't do on this show, Bobby, is ever attack people personally.
Well, no, I'm glad that you threw him in that hellhole because I'm going to call him and Canty up both. That's the second one I got to get to.
All right.
Yeah, and who didn't the other guy stick up for Rodgers? Stephen A. Smith?
I don't have his commentary. I just have Dan Orlovsky.
Because I remember that was 2 weeks ago. But I told you he was on Jail and Hospital, right? Stephen A. Smith.
You did.
So are you going to get my favorite tonight?
Mr. Softy?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Are you sitting in the same place that you sat yesterday?
It's a mystery, Bobby.
I saw you. Well, that was in the press box, was it?
It's a mystery. I can't disclose where I am.
I saw it. You put in Discord.
Well, what happens in the Discord stays in the Discord.
Oh, like Las Vegas, right?
Yeah, there we go.
Las Vegas. Gotta do. What's that expression?
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah, baby.
Have you been to Have you been to Vegas before, Bob?
No, my parents have.
Ah,
because they visit our friends. They lived here in Keene, New Hampshire. They moved all the way out to Las Vegas, so they went to visit them.
Vegas is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I heard about that. I want to go.
Tom actually revealed what I'm doing tonight, Bobby.
What?
I'm dressing
What?
up as Mr. Met for the game.
No, I don't think so. He's a Yankee fan, Tom. So, do you have? You were sick this morning or something?
No, I was not.
You were kind of late.
I had things to do, Bobby. Thanks for the time.
Well, you know, I've grown to love my buddy Alan, but South S has to go. I threw him off my show. Bobby!
Speaking of South Ass, South End Auto Detailing says every time Bobby calls in, I shut the show off. Well, I'll tell you what, South End. I don't like your comments. I don't want your $2. I don't want your blood money. See ya.
Into the shadow realm you go.
And last in the AFC East, the New York Jets, most overrated 7-win team I've ever seen in NFL history, along with a soon-to-be 40-year-old quarterback. But he was nice to his teammates, I guess.
Bomb. Mike L says, Jake, when do your merch store? I need sticker for my fridge. Merch store's in the works, Mike. Hopefully within a couple weeks here. We are further along than we were yesterday. That's why the show, by the way, started late today. Later than normal. I was in meetings all morning. Carly checks in. Speaking of Vegas, Carly's going to Vegas later. The Bonesy song has been stuck in my head for 2 days now. Well, it's a tremendous song. Honestly, when Gator makes a song, they're all catchy.
The only thing better than all them shoes is Joey D, cause he totally rules. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody. Damn, this show is crazy.
Shout out to Mr. Bonesy. Hope he feels better. Bobby knows more about Mr. Bonesy than probably Bonesy's closest friend. B-Mac is up next on our show. What's up, B-Mac?
Hey Jake, good afternoon to you. I'm not gonna do the like the first caller said. I'm not gonna do the whole Rodgers versus because it's starting to get tiresome at this point. You know, it's like going back and forth with 2-year-olds. You know what I mean? Oh, and I guess Dan Marino is a terrible leader, and because he never won a Super Bowl, so bad leader, right? Terrible leader, Dan Marino, right?
Amen.
Yeah. First of all, I want to call just to say that I want to get my hope Bonesy and his kids are feeling better. You know what I mean? Hopefully, hope they're not coming up with COVID and not like that. So get better, Bonesy, and hope your kids get better too. And then the other thing is that I haven't told you this, but my second favorite player of all time behind Rodgers is Deion Sanders. And I want to know, can you get Prime on your show?
Can I get Prime on my show? I mean, I'd love to. I don't know if I could just reach out to him and get him on.
Okay, well, I do love Deion Sanders as well. So if you can get him on your show, that would be great.
I appreciate it, B-Mac. B-Mac reminds me a lot of like the episode of Seinfeld where Kramer promises the kid in the hospital that Paul O'Neill's going to hit 2 home runs. Like, I could try. I can't guarantee I'm going to be able to get Deion Sanders on this show. I love you, B-Mac. Debo, super chat, cuts the line. Jake, I'm predicted the Jets to clinch the AFC East on my show. Most complete roster in division. Jets criticism is unreal. Look, they're my pick to win the AFC East. I think they're the best team. They're the best roster. The key is health. You have some concern with the coaching. I get that, but I think they're just more talented than the other 2 teams. You know, it's funny. Everyone's talking about can Rodgers stay healthy. How do we know Tua's going to stay healthy for another year? He's had 1 year now where he made it through a full season. That's it. He's just now guaranteed to be healthy every year. Like, you know, a year ago, and I was guilty of this too. And I think we Jet fans, we learned the hard way. Karma. Every time we talked about the Dolphins, we were like, Tua can't stay healthy. Well, he did, because it's a year-to-year league. We don't know. Anyone can get hurt. So that's part of this too. Southern Jet is up next on our show. Good afternoon, Rich.
Good afternoon. What was V-Man thinking, suggesting Puerto Rican food to you before the game when we all know that you're going to get authentic Sbarro pizza before the game? I mean, isn't that your usual? Yeah,
Look,
right. That's what'll happen if you have it, right?
I appreciate the gesture from V-Man. I just, I have things to do before the game tonight, so I can't make it over to that place.
I bet you do, but he said you were gonna be Mr. Softy after the game. I hope not. I hope you have better luck than that. But what was the first caller? Was it Johnny?
The first caller today was Tommy. Yep.
Tommy. I swear that looks those sunglasses that looked like the kind my grandmother used to get when she went to have like cataract drops in her eyes at the optometrist. You know how they put them all around you? I mean, I don't know how you see through that. But, Shannon Sharpe, he's got a little agenda, by the way. His brother is a huge Brett Favre fan. He played with him, obviously, and has supported him all through his career. Always was going out of his way to make a case how Favre was better than Rodgers, blah, 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 and all that stuff. And as far as I've been waiting for this, but now I am officially believe I can tell people that I do think the Jets will win the AFC East. I'm convinced of that now. I mean, I've been on the fence. I knew we would be in it, but I think we'll win it. I don't think it'll go to the last week. Let me put it that way. And as far as injuries, you made a very salient point about, how do we know about Tua? I've been feeling for the last year, who's due for a pretty bad injury that's been pretty lucky on the injury front in our division? Josh Allen.
Probably Josh Allen. Yeah, he plays with a style where he takes a lot of hits.
Yeah, and that doesn't happen, I've been watching football a long time, and that stuff catches up with you. And I think he's due for I mean, it's coming. It happens to everybody. I mean, got a freak Rodgers injury. Josh Allen goes down. They're fighting the Patriots for 3rd and 4th. Let me tell you.
Correct.
And
Correct.
Who's their backup?
It's actually a great question. Who is their backup right now? Did they re-sign Mitch Trubisky?
I don't know. That's why I'm saying I think they're fighting the Patriots for third or fourth because no one. I've asked two other people today, and they went,
Mitch
you know,
Trubisky's
I'm
their
not sure.
backup. They brought him back.
You know, I'm a UNC fan, but you know, you can get to him with a pass rush. You know, I just think it's going to go. I think it's just going to be a surprising season. I think it's going to be one of those things that we don't think we deserve because we don't. We have what do they call it? Trump derangements and Rodgers we got loser derangement syndrome, I guess I'd call it. You know, we or you know, bad luck derangement system.
But that's why we deserve
and
it.
I think
though.
this is going to be.
That's what I'm saying. We deserve it, Rich. It's the opposite. We've been through hell and back. We had Aaron Rodgers for 4 plays. We deserve this season coming up.
You're right, and I think we're going to get it. I swear. I went over to the hurdle the other day, and I said I feel it now. I'm very confident. I usually don't do this because I've seen how things go, but great show, and I just want to say that Jet fans, don't worry. I think that we might lose week 1. All that'll do is show us some things we need to work on, and we got to, like you've said perfectly, we have to play him anyway. I'd rather play him week 1. Joe Paterno once said, and it's been quoted many times, Belichick quoted it once and gave Paterno credit, saying the biggest jump in skill a team makes is between weeks 1 and 2. And I think I think I'm glad we play the 49ers in week 1. Get them the hell out of the way, like you've been saying. The day the schedule was released, people were going, oh, and you were saying, hey, that's the best freaking news we could get.
Yeah,
so
Rich, excellent call. I mean, like here's how I've looked at it, right? Like I wanted to open up at home because I wanted Rodgers' return game to be at home. As a fan, I wanted that. But if you're going to tell me you're going to have to play the Niners anyway, and you said, well, Jake, they're not opening up at home, then all right, fine. Get the Niners out of the way. It's week 1. Random things happen in week 1. The Jets, we saw this last year. They lost Aaron Rodgers in the 4th play and still won. So it's week 1. There could be a Super Bowl hangover for San Fran. No one's going to pick the Jets. They could play loose that night. Send a statement to the league. And if you lose, you're a 5.5-point underdog. Then beat Tennessee. Then beat the brakes off of New England. Then go in and beat the brakes off of Bo Nix or Zach Wilson, who I don't even think will be on the team by then, or Jared Stidham, whoever. Then go beat the brakes off of J.J. McCarthy or Sam Darnold, and you're 4-1 going into the Bills game on Monday night. And that's when the season begins. That first real test against a division opponent in your building that you have beaten the last 2 years in that building with Zach Wilson at quarterback. So it is what it is. Gangrene, super chat, cuts the line. Are you doing an Asmaniac Fantasy Football League? Love the show. Thanks for the content in June for us diehards. Yes. Big announcement. I partnered up with a company that specializes in fantasy in conjunction with Circa Resort. We're going to have some big announcements on this coming soon. There is a big-time Asmaniac Football League that I'm going to be playing in that you guys are going to have a chance to be a part of. So stay tuned for that. You'll find out about it on Discord first. I'm going to make it a priority for those on Discord because we had a league last year. This one is a little different because the prize pool is a lot more. So I'm going to offer it to those on that league first, and then the general public will find out after. But, Gangrene, if you're interested, I don't know if you're on my Patreon or Discord, but get on there and we'll make it happen. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Hit the like button. Good call there from Rich. Mike D's Nuts says, the Charles call yesterday was my favorite call ever. He was broken. Man, Charles has given us some calls over the years, but his recent one from Burger King was something. I'll tell you that much. Murdog is up next on our Gusbuster hotline. Murdog, what's going on?
What's up, Jake? Just catching the show a little late. Heard the Shannon Sharpe thing. It sucks for us as diehard Jet fans because we've had it hard enough, right? We've had to suffer through season after season after season, and now we finally have hope and some real things to look forward to. Like, it's legit, it's real, it's gonna happen. And for some reason, they still want to hate on us. Can't wrap my head around why. I definitely agree that it's the politics and the agenda and, where Rodgers stands, but, they can't just let us be. They're hating on us because they know what's going to happen. So when I was listening to your show yesterday about Graziano running his mouth, I'm sorry, not Graziano. He was before Florio. Florio had us ranked 25th, right?
Correct.
25th team. Okay. So I think we're all in agreement that there's a bias and that they're just trying to hate on us. And they're always wrong. And there's no accountability for these sports personalities that run their mouth and they're wrong, whether it's draft prospects, who's a bust, who's not. They're always wrong and there's no accountability. They don't lose their jobs. They make stupid take after stupid take and they're still brought back on the air and get paid handsomely for it. And it's terrible. But you know who has no bias, Jake? Vegas. Vegas doesn't have bias. And if you look at our odds with the Jets to win the Super Bowl, we are no lower than 11th. So when Florio wants to talk trash about us being the 25th best team, clearly Vegas doesn't agree. And they're never biased and they're almost never wrong. So that's my take on Florio, bro.
Murdoch, appreciate the call. And here's the thing, too. If you just look at the point spreads, they're a favorite in 14 of their 17 games this year. This team is really good. If they weren't the Jets, we'd talk about them as a dark horse Super Bowl contender a lot more than the one or two in the national media who actually do, like Mike Clay of ESPN.com, who's actually picking the Jets to win the whole thing. No doubt. JJ says, prior to the Jets, A-Rod had a reputation, maybe unwarranted, of being a bad teammate, treating rookies like crap, being a diva. Listen to Greg Jennings. And Greg Jennings is so biased in his nonsense, though, and that's been disproven by guys who played with him. Greg Jennings was very bitter how his time in Green Bay ended. He's like a scorn lover type of thing. Go listen to Randall Cobb or Jordy Nelson or hell, even Alan Lazard talk about Rodgers. Or Bakhtiari or any of these guys, man. It's like, it's such nonsense. And if we're just going to judge Rodgers on how he's been as a Jet, you can't say anything but positive things about him from a football standpoint and leadership standpoint. Shout out to Greg Jennings, though, man. I don't know how he scored that touchdown with that broken leg. Got by Darren Sharpe, one of the hardest hitting safeties in the league. Shout out to those who got that reference. Zach got it. Broke his effing leg, though. There it is. One of the great OG YouTube videos of all time. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So this shirt I'm wearing right now, I'm giving them a free plug because they're a sponsor, but they're not scheduled for me to talk about them today. But I love this shirt. I love Cuts Clothing so much. I just want to give them an extra shout out here. 20% off with my code. Go to cutsclothing.com. I love their polos. Their T-shirts are super nice. If you're going to invest in a quality shirt, make it a Cuts shirt. I'm telling you, Cuts Clothing's awesome. Promo code Asman, you'll get 20% off. And I'm being sincere when I say this. They did not pay for this. I'm giving them a free ad because I really do like these shirts and hope to continue the relationship with them. But Cuts Clothing's awesome. You see the commercials everywhere if you're watching any Yankees or Mets games or really any sporting event. But they're a sponsor for us, so I want to give them some love because I truly do love their shirts. Greg says, Rodgers MVP number 5. Sign me up for that. Dano, Yankees getting payback tonight. I predicted a split before the series started, so yeah. I think the Yankees find a way to win tonight with Luis Gil on the mound. Their lineup right now is so bad after the first 3, though. Combination of injuries and just poor performance. I mean, DJ LeMahieu is shot. Gleyber Torres is even worse. He is shot, and he is just mentally not checked in to these games right now. It's affecting his defense. I think the fact he's going to be a free agent, it's a contract year, and he can't handle it is getting to him. I mean, it is bad. This lineup is not good outside the first 3 hitters. I haven't seen the Yankee lineup for tonight. Let me see what it is because I've been on the air here. Let's see. I'll give you a live reaction. Volpe, Soto, Judge. I mean, all you need to know is J.D. Davis, who wasn't good enough to play for the Oakland A's and got cut, is now batting cleanup tonight for the Yankees. Verdugo, LeMahieu, Trevino. So they benched Torres, thank God, playing Cabrera at second. He should play every day. And so should Ben Rice, by the way. Put Rice at first. DH Davis, he's good against lefties. You have to play a DJ because you don't really have a choice. But this is the best they could do. About time they bench Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres' ass should be on the bench for a week until he could figure out something. He's been that bad. All right, you can't bench everyone because they don't have enough players right now. LeMahieu should be benched too, but they don't have a choice. But Gleyber is in a funk. He needs to just sit and get his head right. Not hustling out of the box. I don't want to hear about your groin, Gleyber. Then don't play if you're hurt. Steve M. making it rain. First one today, Steve. Let's go. If you hear your name called, you're a channel member. Thanks to Steve M. Jiggaman. Porto. What's up, Jigga? White Sox Jet. You're Lucky Luke. Gary Weber. You guys are all as maniacs. Shout out to you, Steve. Appreciate that. 5 members have been gained in this show. How many more can we get before we wrap up in about 10 minutes or so? Angelo, 99% of negative talk about the Jets at this point is media hate and LOL Jets agenda. I can't wait to drink their tears with you all come February. Amen, Angelo. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is a man who, when he calls in, you stop what you're doing and you pay attention. If you missed his last call, it was one for the history books.
Who was that lovely lady?
That was Carly.
Oh. Anyway.
Yep. Charles, I think we talked about you calling in and chewing on the air again. You couldn't wait till after your call to eat. You talk to me and then you eat.
Anyway,
this is a great angle for you, Charles. Even better angle. Where are you calling us from?
Burger King in Hope Lawn.
What did you get?
A BK Royal Crispy Sandwich with Swiss cheese on it. No tomato. About to finish up my fries. I'm about to have a slice of birthday cake.
Very nice. Charles, I think you should give all your takes from this angle moving forward. Hello, Charles.
How are you, Jake?
I'm good, Charles. How are you?
Good. So I want to let everybody know I'm finished with the hospital.
What do you mean you're finished?
My tenure at the 60-day career development program ended on Monday.
Did it end on a high?
It was my last day. Yeah, it ended very well.
I'm happy to hear it ended well.
So, yeah, hopefully the Yankees get the W tonight. I know Judge hit a grand slam last night.
He did.
And I think Donovan Mitchell said I'll delete my Twitter or something.
He did.
Did you get the Knicks traded for the guy from the Nets?
What happened with the Knicks? They did something?
They traded a player for a player from the Nets. I think he went to Villanova.
This is the first I'm hearing of this.
You serious?
No.
Forgot the dude's name.
Mikal Bridges, Charles. Come on, man. You're talking to a guy who's a diehard Knicks fan. You don't think I heard about the Knicks trade?
I know you did, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about it. Are you supposed to, I've done a terrible job following.
Why did you just say that? Why didn't you just be like, hey, I wanted to talk about the Knicks?
Well, I came to talk to you in general, period, because I got nothing else to do.
What? Oh, hold on a second. So you're saying that I'm only good to keep you entertained?
That's not true.
That's what you just said. You said you got nothing else to do, so you called in.
I got nothing to do right now.
I don't like your tone, Charles.
Bobby wants to know if he could talk to me.
Well, guess what? He can't because I'm talking to you right now. And I'm not happy with you, Charles.
I'm sorry, Jake. I didn't mean to upset you.
It's okay, Charles. I forgive you.
Yeah, hopefully the Yankees get the W tonight.
What's up next in your career path now? The hospital run is over. Now what?
Hopefully I hear back. Well, I'm going to have a meeting with them on the 11th of July with my DVRS counselor and my DDD support coordinator. And the rest is history. So I did apply to a couple positions. I did apply to the popcorn for the people, the one with autistic people, because I am autistic myself. And I did apply for like a dietary aid.
Very nice.
I should hear from back, but I'm soon. Other than that, I've just been chilling at home, doing some stuff,
Well, I'm happy to hear that, Charles. Thanks for calling in today.
Yeah, no problem.
What's for dinner tonight?
I'm gonna have leftover pizza.
Really?
From one of my local pizzerias, Pina's.
Any chicken soup?
Hey, Charles, I need some more of that chicken soup. I need some of your mama's chicken soup.
You sure?
I'm sure, man. It's too hot for chicken soup.
I feel ya. I'm glad you're in the full Charles Gorman uniform today, though. Good to see
with the wife beater A shirt and everything. And
yeah, good to see the wife beater back, the chest hair flail, and I mean, this is the Charles Gorman that people want.
I appreciate that. How's your family doing?
They're good, Charles. I appreciate you asking. Everyone's doing well. JJ with a super chat. All I'm saying is you guys act like A-Rod's being hated on because of the Jets. He's been hated on prior to the Jets and COVID. Green Bay fans didn't want him anymore. JJ, where are you getting this from? I have already said in this show and many times when talking about Aaron Rodgers that this is the perfect storm of LOL Jets and Aaron Rodgers being a lightning rod. So no one is disagreeing with that point. The Green Bay fans didn't want him anymore. I don't know if that's entirely true either. I think at that point, they were going into Jordan Love's third season. They knew Rodgers was 40. They had no choice coming off an 8-9 year to see what they had in him because Rodgers wasn't going to be there that long. He had a couple of years left, and they couldn't burn a first-round pick at quarterback. So it was time for a breakup, just like it was time for Brady to leave New England. That's not a knock on Rodgers. 2 of his last 3 seasons in Green Bay, he won back-to-back MVP awards. Tom writes in, Jake, will Carly be announcing the picks on stage at the NHL draft like Lane? Yeah, that's an excellent question, Tom. I don't have the answer to that. I do know this, though. There is nobody that can announce a draft pick, regardless of sport, better than the Lane train.
On the 2022 draft pick, the pick goes to Knoble out of college.
One of the greats. More of your calls right now, but first, today's Jake Asman show is presented by Homage. Folks, get yourself some fresh Jets gear from Homage. My favorite shirt there, by the way, because I've been asked, is the Gotham City football one. Dead center there, the gray one. Love that one. If you want the same one, scan the QR code. Takes you right to the Homage website, or check out the hyperlink in the description for this video. Help support our brand new sponsor, Homage, by getting yourself some sweet Jets gear ahead of the upcoming football season. Tom writes in, who is the Knoble in this year's NHL draft? Maybe a guy named Stenzilov. Insert European, Russian, Czechoslovakian kind of name. David says, Homage doesn't ship to my location. David, where are you based again? Because I feel like there's multiple sponsors that you have said they don't ship to you. Where are you based? Man. Hit the like. Dano says, Jake, would you like to see the Knicks package their 2-1s or stick and pick? If there's a player they love and they think they got to package both to get them, you do it, because your roster is pretty much filled out. So you're only looking for guys that you think are true difference makers that maybe could help you at some point next year. I think if they could trade up for one of the big guys, I'm in. Shout out to Rick Kent, who said he bought a shirt from Homage earlier today. Appreciate that, Rick. More calls right now. NY Jets Florida is up next. NY, what do you got for us?
Jake, good afternoon. I wanted to follow Charles Eugene Gorman after his call. Did you happen to hear Dan Orlovsky's counter argument to Shannon Sharpe's point about Rodgers?
I played it. I guess you didn't see
Oh,
the
I'm
beginning
sorry.
of the
Okay,
show.
I got
Yeah.
you late. Yeah, sorry. Where he basically said that you kind of made Elway because you're a Hall of Famer also. It goes both ways, right? So to just blanketly state that Rodgers is, not doing the right thing, not knowing the circumstances of where he's at, mentally, physically, you don't know really what he's doing. He has an excused absence, basically, an excused, unexcused absence. Let's say that. It's just a lazy take again. It's just typical what we do nowadays in the media and just blanketly state things that aren't necessarily true. There's nothing, Jake. There's nothing else to talk about in the NFL, really. I mean, they just have to have something. That's the only thing there is. I mean, what's the only other controversy they can actually pick at?
Yeah, I said this earlier. I mean, like this thing happened 2 weeks ago. It's still being discussed 2 days ago. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, it's nice to hear some of the newer callers coming in, and hear some of their perspectives and things. So, appreciate the show, Jake. I'll be around. Have a good one.
NY, thanks so much, man. Appreciate you. Good call from NY. Hit the like button. Last chance to get in. Let's see. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Rich B says the Gotham City shirt is sweet. Asking for that for my upcoming 48th birthday. Hey, it's a great shirt. I think it's just cool that like New York and Gotham City, like it's synonymous, Charles Gorman, you better be getting a Gotham City Jet shirt. You're Mr. Superhero on this show. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy is not even a Jet fan. Cincy Matt, for the second time today, is making it rain for Jet fans. Cincy Matt, sound the alarms. Joe D, Rowan Marshall, Jonathan Gonzalez, Andres Maximus 28, Josh Frischman. You guys are all officially as maniacs. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Cincy Matt, you're the man, dude. You are the man. I will root for your team when they're not playing the Jets now. Dave says, nobody beats D's nuts. Who?
Is this Mike D's nuts?
Oh, the great Mike D's nuts. Love him. Mike D's nuts says, Cincy is a beast. I love it. Respect. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve M. Wow. 10 memberships, a $50 spend for the people. Holy hell.
Money, 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 money.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you hear your name called, you thank Steve M., Trice G., Mark Grossman, LaGreatness, F.R. Kazi, Harrison Bornstein, Joe Steniro, Freak Turd Zero, Shad Johnson, Just for Fun, Just End the Stigma. You guys are all officially as maniacs. Dun, dun, dun. It's raining memberships, folks. That might be my next sounder I add. Just like a thunderstorm, rain. because that's what's happening. Cincy Matt says, I don't hold a candle to D's nuts, but I'm doing my best impression.
Is this Mike D's nuts?
Of course it is. Of course it is. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Appreciate everyone who's tuned in live to our show. Let's see. How about this for a video I wanted to play for the people here? All right. Just sit back and you be the judge. Is there enough passion in this Jet chant to actually think this guy is a Jet fan?
Jets, Jets.
To me, it kind of sounds like Allen's in pain doing that, but I don't know. Let's review it again.
Jets, Jets.
Does it sound like he's a Jet fan there, folks? I don't know. This to me is what a Jet chant's supposed to sound like.
Is Brock Purdy gonna run for his life on the opener? Oh, yeah! He's gonna die. Let's go. Jets, Jets. Let's go.
I'm just saying. Man. Oh, man. Rich, Allen doesn't emote. 3 siblings, definitely in pain. Rick, no. I'm telling you. Allen's going to... If the Jets are actually good, Allen better be calling in excited that he's rooting for a good team. Otherwise, my fear that he's not actually a real Jet fan and he's just rooting for our demise are going to come true.
Jets, Jets.
I need to see more. I need to see more passion. Bino says that's about as enthusiastic as he can get. Hey, I just saw this comment come across here from Joseph. Watch the show every day, but I hardly jump in the chat. But I need some prayers for my fellow Jet fans. Had an infection in my body that traveled to my back, and I'll be in the hospital 6 weeks. Hey, Joseph, I'm really sorry to hear that. We're all rooting for you and send our well wishes. Thoughts with you, man. Hang in there, Joseph. Keep us posted, all right? Man, prayers to you, Joseph. Sorry to hear that. Tom says Allen loves rebuilding. His dream season is 8-9 because then he could complain that they weren't good enough to make the playoffs and they weren't bad enough to get a top pick. The funniest thing is, though, if you go back to some of the old shows at the end of last season when Allen wanted them to lose, it was never just Alt. It was Alt and Fashanu. They're never going to be able to get either of those guys. He wanted one of those guys. Then it became Alt. But they ended up getting Olu, and they could have had him at 10. They moved back a spot, got extra picks, and still got him. Funny how that works out. Funny how that works out. Man. All right, that does it for me. I want to thank everyone who tuned in. Hit the like button before you go. I'm off the City Field, so if you're an Asmaniac going to the game later, say hello. All right. I'm sitting near section 326. So you let me know. I appreciate everyone who tuned into the show. My name is Jake Asman. We are back tomorrow with plenty more things to discuss. So I am certainly looking forward to that. And I simply end the show by saying, go check out the best of the Jake Asman Show video, episode 2, which dropped earlier today. And if you haven't seen it yet, here's a little clip.
Dios mío. I gotta say, that's like, God, I feel like, Carly, like, you're just, no, I feel like you're going through right now. No, I'm just like, God, I did not expect this. Sorry. I was just, it's my I think it's probably on par with my grandfather's English at this point, which is non-existent.
Your grandfather's what?
You know, when you get older, you revert to your whatever language was your first language. Penuelas, Puerto Rico, Spanish is his first language, so his English is so terrible you can't even understand a word of what he's saying. You can barely understand his Spanish either. But that's a different story because Puerto Ricans can't speak Spanish.
Dime, yo te quiero mucho, okay? Tú eres de los míos. So we both Puerto Rican, you know. Just be careful with what you say, because what you said, when you said Puerto Ricans don't know how to speak Spanish, you may have been just kidding. You know, you got to watch your words. Listen, all I want to say is just remember you're not the only Boricua in this chat. I know how to speak. Yo hablo español perfectamente. I have a master's. I've worked for the community for over 15 years. I was even in Hurricane Maria helping during the relief. So just know that you're not the only one. There's a diaspora. And I would love to chop it up one day. We all have our different opinions and our different views, but that was number one. I had to get that off my chest.
I love it. You've been holding that in for a while, it sounds like.
I was trying to chat. I was like, I need to call because it's too much.
Now that's a damn voice.
Get in the hole!